Hey everyone, it's Cherish coming back at y'all with another video. This video is about when I worked at Swift, my experience with Swift Transportation. So my journey with Swift is, they were contacting me for a couple of months because right after I was going to leave prom, I had applied, but then I ended up going with DM Boeing. But they was contacting me for like months. So I was like, and it always seemed like a good deal. I was like, let me give them a try. And I did. Recruiter was really good. He was this Hispanic male. He was really nice. You know, everything was everything. Even before I had got to the orientation, they texted me making sure, oh, did you check in okay? Are you okay? Everything was everything. I was like, oh, I like this company. I like this company. When I got to orientation, everything was okay. This one lady, she was getting smart though. She got smart with this guy because it was like, I guess they changed the time of the email and he had an old email and she had got smart with him and he had got smart with her. So it was typical orientation stuff, you know, filling out paperwork, drug tests, hair follicle tests if you ain't do that already. But I had mine already. So yeah, I had mine already. I think you have an option. Like say if you already have another job and you can't go to their testing facility, then you can just get tested by them. But I ain't got time for all that. But let me be honest with you, Swift is the reason why I would never do another startup company. And I'm going to tell y'all why in this video. So it was a lot of confusion on orientation because I don't understand why they do this. They'll do like a soft background check, but they don't even do job verification or anything. And then they would send you home. Well, they'll do it while you're in orientation. Okay, we're going to call your references now. Why you ain't do that before I got here? Why are you wasting my time? But they say, I asked the man that and he was like, oh, because a lot of people don't come to orientation. They say they was. But it seemed like them hotels cost money too. It seemed like a background check would be lower than the cost of you getting somebody a rental or a Greyhound ticket, which I think they do Greyhound tickets. So that's a negative on them. But I didn't do that because it was only an hour and a half from my house. Like an hour and a half to 2 hours from my house. So I just drove. And don't forget to ask about your recruiter about gas reimbursement. And the orientation was $300 and was supposed to be about 3 days. So anyway, everything was everything. Then they sent me on home, was like, okay, we're going to do the background check and the references and stuff like that. And then we're going to give y'all employee number. And I'm like, okay, so what's the next steps? It was like, there was no next steps. Like, oh, okay, usually they'd be like, oh, you got to do training or you don't have to do training. I was like so confused. So the next day they gave my employee number. 2 weeks went by and I heard nothing from Swift. Hello. So yeah, I heard nothing from them. So I was like, I always want to work for NFI, but I knew that I don't think I could go to NFI yet. So, but I was like, shit, fuck it. I'm gonna try anyway. I was like, shoot, I'm gonna try anyway. So I tried to go to NFI and everything happened, but some bad things had happened at NFI. Like something crazy had happened, but if y'all want me to do a video about NFI, I will do a video about NFI. Put it in the comment section. Like y'all know, I'm probably gonna do it anyway. I don't know when, but if you put it in the comment section, I'll push the video up. So 2 weeks went by. I hadn't heard nothing from them. It was time for me to move on. I went to NFI. But that wasn't working, so then I had called Swift back. Somebody did call me back, but this is about 3 weeks after orientation at this time. Somebody did call me back, and I was like, shit, let me just call them back. I called them back like a week later, and I called them back, and they was like, oh, well, I don't see you in here. Let me call somebody else. Call somebody else. They was like, oh, well, we took you out the system because we've been calling you. Like, first of all, you called me one time, 3 whole weeks later. Like, where they do that at? Anyway, the checks were pretty good for a starter company. My checks were between $1,100 gross to $1,500 gross. Yeah, so they vary, and it was we got paid 37 cents per mile, and we got paid $40 per drop. And I took that low cent per mile because I thought that's how it worked when you do a cent per mile, like when you get paid for the drop as well. I thought that's how it worked. And they didn't pay for detention. I was intermodal, so they didn't pay for detention because we was always supposed to be running. We was never really supposed to have no downtime. And I can say my driver leader, she was pretty good. She seemed like the only one that actually did care about the treatment of the drivers. Everybody, we had like 6 dispatches. All the other ones, they didn't give a damn about you. So, yeah, like after that, they put me back. They was acting like they couldn't put me back in the system. And they're like, okay, we just going to put you back in the system. I forgot what I had to do. I think all I had to do was fill out another application, but I ain't had to do another drug test and all of that other stuff. So the guy that the lady had got smart with orientation, why did he do my ride along? Because this, at the division I was in, which was intermodal, we did not do like you had to have a certain amount of experience anyway, so they didn't do training on that division. We were supposed to get about 3 to 6 runs a day, but it was always having some confusion. Oh, we don't have no runs today because the train stuck in Chicago, or the train ain't come through in Chicago and stuff like that. It was like a whole bunch of empty promises. We're gonna give you this amount of work, and it was hardly nothing. I swear, sometimes I would leave the house about 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. and we would be done. I would already be back by 12 p.m. So they had too many drivers and they did not have enough work. And a lot of drivers was complaining about that. Like, where's all the work at? Because like I said, when I was first called, this man had let's just call him Tevin or Timothy. Let's call him Timothy. And he had called me and was like, oh yeah, you will never make less than $300 a day. My guys are doing this, we doing that. And it was nothing like that when I got there. But if you do get trained by them, like through their school, coming there with just a permit, you have 2 times to pass your test. If not, they'll send you home. So don't go up there playing. You got to take this serious. Oh, and we also, at my division, we also got paid $40 if we did a dig here over 60 miles. But since I left, they stopped it. That's why a lot of people are leaving. A lot of people was leaving when I was leaving, but I was leaving for a totally different reason. I was leaving because of the dispatchers and them keep on playing on my $40. That was my biggest problem with them. They kept on playing with my $40 and then them promising, oh, you're going to be working all day. You ain't going to make no less than $1,500. And I did make $1,500, but it was going down. It was going down to like $1,000. After I left, they stopped paying you for empty moves. So that was a big, like, okay, it's not even worth it no more if you ain't gonna be paying for me for empty moves and like with that 37 cents per mile. And I feel like everybody made that or close to that. And they do zip code to zip code, but it just seemed like it was getting worse and worse and worse with that zip code to zip code. Like I think I told y'all this in this story a couple times. They try to put, like, say if the run was like 120 miles, because we didn't go far because we was intermodal. Say if it was 120 miles, they would pay you for like 90 miles. Like, where's the rush? I was not doing this at first. When I got my truck, it had about 6 problems. Like, it hardly had any load locks. The engine light was on. The tires were bald. It was like a lot of problems. And I had said something to the lady, so I ended up wasting my time like twice. Because the man had to take me back home because the terminal was like an hour and a half from me. But the driver, the guy I did my ride along with, he had to end up taking me back home because I couldn't take the truck like that. It's not even up to par. So I was just saying that to say, one day when I was on my way to Harrisburg, I had 2 blowouts. This is one of the scariest days in my trucking career because I had 2 blowouts in the middle of the street on a bridge. And, you know, bridges do not have shoulders usually. So I had 2 blowouts or whatever. So I was just sitting there waiting for, breakdown. I call it breakdown, waiting for breakdown. It took them like an hour and a half to get to me. And it was only like 30 minutes away. But, I mean, it is what it is. But I was on the shoulder. But, yeah, it took them like an hour and a half to get to me. And I was like, well, let me see. Yeah, it took them like an hour and a half to get to me. And I was just like, and an officer pulled beside me, like, what's going on here? Oh, okay. He was like, but I have to give you a DOT inspection. I'm in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania police are just different. But, he was like, I'm going to have to give you a inspection. Okay, fine. We did everything. And then he asked me for my paper logs. But like I said, remember when I told you about that discrepancy we had, like where I didn't even know when I was starting or when the next period was. I don't think they ever gave me paper logs, or if they did, I don't know about it. But I did have some paper logs from my old company, NFI, but I didn't find them until he went back to his police car. And anybody knows, and everybody knows, you don't want to just get out your truck, car, or whatever, with a police officer. They might shoot your ass down. So I stayed up in this truck. Like, so, but I told him when I came back, but he already printed it out. And so he had put that on there, no paper logs. So I ended up quitting because of the $40 nonsense. And I applied to variant. And it was like, oh, we can't take you. And I'm like, why? And it was like, oh, because I'm no incidents and I'm no accidents. It was like, we can't take you because Swift put something on your record. And I went on driver IQ or whatever. I pulled out my deck report. They put a compliance violation on my shit. They put a compliance violation on my record for that. And then they lied and said they terminated me. I'm gonna upload my email resignation. Like, if you fire me, you had to call me into the terminal. If you fire me, It's just all this other stuff. If you fired me, you would have to let me know I quit. And then you gonna lie and say you fired me, but that's not. I've heard that a lot about Swift. They'll lie and say that they fired you, or they lie and put little nonsense like that on there. But me, I'm fighting that shit all the way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna fight it all the way through. Like, you're not about to just put nothing like that on me. So surprisingly, I didn't do this video sooner. I should have been put this video out. The other downside I would say about Swift is they didn't have a fridge in the APU. They have fridge in certain trucks, but they wasn't one in mine. So like, oh, that's not a necessity, yada yada yada. So that just shows how they treat their people. Like, I'm not saying they're the worst company in the world. They were not the worst company in the world, and I would kind of recommend them, but I would let you know, like, they could lie and put stuff on your report. I think they was mad because I had said, oh, I was like, I kept their truck for like a week before I quit or whatever, and I told them like, oh, I was sick or whatever. I think I told them I had COVID, or I think I caught COVID, or I was sick or something like that, because I wanted my last check, because they was never letting me get direct deposit. I had to get it on a pay card, and I heard that they'll shut that pay card off, and you just gonna be shit out of luck without your money. And I still had another check coming in. So yeah, I think maybe that's why they lied and said they fired me or whatever. I don't know. But they don't tell you no details of why they put stuff on your record. Oh, and another thing is, most of their trucks do not have an air valve dump. So and like I said, I was intermodal, and them things are hard. So I was so glad to get out of them. But then I ended up going to a freaking company that does the port. So it was just like, same old shit, same old bad equipment. But overall, I will give Swift a 6 out of 10. And like I said, I wouldn't say don't go there, but it's other options like Halvor Lines or something like that. But I mean, if you go there, just know that you gotta be on your P's and Q's. Oh, and they are big on safety. They are huge on safety. Like, I remember one time I was going on a curve. The curve said 45, but the speed limit was 55. I was going 50. And they're gonna give me some points for that. When I'm saying they will give you points for every little thing, you're like, what? So now I'm not at a mega carrier right now. I'm not at a starter company right now. It's like a total different experience. Like, driving wise, you can just do you, because you responsible. So that's why if you do go there, don't stay there for more than a year. It's definitely a starter company. You don't want to be micromanaged like that. But anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, please put a trucking comment section. Please join my community. I just want all us truck drivers to be together and help each other out. Please like, comment, share, and thank you for clicking on the video. It was nice talking to y'all today.